Welcome back, everyone, to the Librarium of Ludus Infinium. Today, we will talk about Part 11, or technically Part 2, Section 1, of Horus Rising. Now, we start off with a different legion, the Emperor's Children, the Third Legion, on planet 14020, later to be named Murder. What I would consider the main character of this portion of the story is a captain by the name of Saul Tarvitz. I have mentioned him in other lore videos. He is a loyalist. He served before Fulgrim was found, and he has a deep connection with Nathaniel Garrow of the Death Guard. I believe after Garrow saved his life, it could be the other way around. I'll have to double check. But that's beside the point. On Murder, the Blood Angels of the 140th Expedition dropped 3 companies, and none of them returned. No communication, no nothing. By the time the Emperor's Children got there, under Lord Commander Eidolon, they were informed that there was another contingent of Blood Angels and a massive contingent from the 63rd Expeditionary Force, led by Horus Lupercal, on their way to the planet. At this point, being, quite frankly, glory hungry, he dropped his entire company on the planet, got them all scattered, and then let's just say things went to shit real quick. They got introduced to a very rare species among Warhammer 40k, or at least to my knowledge they're rare. The Mega Arachnids. So, how do I describe Mega Arachnids? Well, I'm assuming, because they're so popular, everyone knows what the Zerg are from StarCraft, as well as their Warhammer 40k counterpart, the Tyranid. Take them and make them more scary. The difference is, instead of being completely organic, these things somehow have the technology to encase parts of their body in metal, in sharp metal. So sharp that when another captain, Lucius, grabbed it's hard to explain a limb. It was a quote-unquote arm of a Mega Arachnid too tightly, it punctured through his power-armored gauntlet and cut into his hand. I will repeat this. He is a Space Marine captain. It went through the gauntlet and into the hand. So that was just from him gripping it too hard. There was an instance in the book, I'm not sure if it's in this part or not, due to the way I record these, of a fight only lasting, I believe, 12 seconds, and 2 veteran Astartes dropping dead. Like that. Just in 12 seconds. 12 seconds is not long. In fact, 12 seconds 12 seconds takes up that slight moment of silence I just had. That's it. That's all it takes. Just in that moment, 2 power-armored veteran Astartes drop dead. And we also get to see in this part how there's a misconception, or at least Tarvitz believes there's a misconception. The Emperor's Children strive for perfection in all things. but it comes off as superiority. So other legions kind of look at them in a negative light because of that. They see them as arrogant dicks. And when you have people like Eidolon, whose pride is literally the only reason why he would not wait for other reinforcements, it's hard to argue that they're wrong. Now, there are some cases like Saul Tarvitz and the Emperor's Children who understand the difference between throwing away everything to try and reach perfection and knowing your limits and reaching perfection in your own limits. Now, to do kind of a parallel here, this is how I look at YouTube as a creator. I know I'm not the best one. I can only learn and get better as I go, but I seek to do the best that I can. I don't believe I can put out a perfect video, but I seek to always improve and always put out better content. That aside, I did make a comment a while back that I think will interest quite a few people. It was that I believe if I were to label myself, not the not the persona Ludus, but myself IRL, if I were to be under the Chaos Gods, I would fall under Chaos Undivided. Due to I will admit I do have anger issues sometimes, so that would put me under Corn. Nurgle, because I always like to put my head down and muscle through things and resolve my way through it. And Zinch, because for the people who get far enough on my bad side, I'm not gonna lie, enjoy fucking with them. Granted, haven't really had the need to do that in a while, and honestly, I wouldn't. That's also a long time ago in a whole nother life of mine. But the one I never really connected with was Slaanesh, because I always saw Slaanesh as success and hedonism. But now I realize I would fall under Chaos Undivided under all four. And I would fall to Slaanesh because it would be my constant need for improvement, my constant need to be better, to be the best at what I do. And no matter what I do, whether it be YouTube or when I was a cook or whatever, that's how I looked at it. I will be the best. So just something I kind of thought was a little funny. Hopefully it brings a little entertainment to you. Back to the book. When the 63rd Expeditionary Force finally translates into the area around Murder, they know that the 140th Expeditionary Force of the Blood Angels has 14 ships. However, there are 29 there. Now, when Horus sees this, he is surrounded by 10 captains, including Ezekiel Abaddon, Horus Axamand, Tarek Torgeddon, Garfield Logan, as well as other captains, including his Ekrui and Yakton Cruz. That is a hard name to say. Much easier also to say his Ekrui instead of Malikhurst. I hate some of these names, so I'm going to call him the Ekrui, the crippled Ekrui. So when they do get into the relative area, they wonder if they need to pull up battle lines if the 140th is under attack. This is one of my favorite parts in this section of the book, or at least in this specific part of the book, because Horus is fucking with them again, is really what it is. Horus has a bad habit of fucking with people, he really does. So he's like, I don't know, should we pull up battle lines? Yakton Cruz says, well, there was supposed to be 14, there are 29. We don't know if they're alien or not. Axamand goes on to say that they aren't attacking them, but we don't know who they are. To which finally it gets around to Loken, and he says, but they're in Imperial high orbit formation. They have to be ours, knowing that formation. Oh, wait, you knew that all along, didn't you, Daddy? And Horus is like, yes, I just wanted to see who else caught on to that. The rest of you are stupid little fuckers. Head pats for you, look. And it's kind of a funny scene because you see Yacht and Cruz get really embarrassed by the fact that he's like, well, maybe we should just kill them all because they can't be ours because we were told how many they were supposed to be. And Logan's just like, but they must be ours. They have to be ours. So it's a cool little interchange. It's one of the. It's like I've always said, and if you look at my 30K versus 40K Astartes in that writing, this is one of the instances where the 30K Astartes really come out on top. You have little moments like this that just make the books pop. So one of the discoveries that, other than the fact that the 140th is not being attacked and it's just other Astartes, is that there are beacons in the area transmitting a signal. Now the 140th had said that it's untranslatable. The Emperor's children, I believe, didn't even fucking bother because Eidolon. However, Horus saw it, and he's like, "Sounds like music." And Logan even asked him, "He's like, well, what do you mean it sounds like music?" It's like, well, look at it, it's very mathematical, like musical notes. And he points out where it looks like music. He's like, let's have our own people translate this. The 140th and the Emperor's children have already proved themselves incompetent. We're not going to take it at their word. We're going to do it ourselves and see what we can discover. So this is also another. It's not really necessarily a funny moment, but it's one that definitely sticks out with me because even though at this point there's no such thing as Astartes fighting Astartes or realistic like any kind of outright hatreds, I should say there are Astartes that dislike other Astartes. Notably, you have like Space Wolves and Thousand Suns. They don't like each other, but they don't like kill each other on sight. It's it's kind of funny to see where Horus is criticizing not just the Emperor's children, but the Blood Angels as well as being incompetent for not being able to uh, decipher these beacons. So the section ends with a little bit of a flashback. The Emperor's children, before they dropped, when they translated in and met with the 140th, Eidolon was asking, well, where's the captain? I don't know. Where's the leader of the Imperial Army retinue? I don't know. They're down on the planet. So he's like, okay, well, we'll get ready to drop down there. Well, sir, don't you want to wait for the Blood Angels and the Luna Wolves to show up? And once he heard that, he's like, nope, we're doing it right now. No. Everyone go. Go. So it really shows that he did it out of a sense of glory mongering and pride. Now, I hope you enjoyed my return to Horus Rising. This is part 11 or part 2, section 1. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.